Is there anything we like more than marked hands? Let's find out. Ace deuce suited. We are obviously going to open raise this. We do. We get a call. We miss everything. If you're going to C bet this, it's only because you're C betting range. Well, no, we have a backdoor straight and an overcard. Okay, that's enough to bet, but we don't, and that's okay too. Check, check. Great. Now we have showdown value. So I think we don't have to bet. Great. And then comes the king. And I will explain that bet right there. That bet is a mistake. There is no reason to make that bet. That bet has no value. And the reason I made that bet is that I was typing like in my email or a text to somebody, and as I hit return for the text, Ignition jumped back as the front screen and took that return key, which makes it a min bet. So if you ever see this only online, those min bets are possibly that freakish error. And I got punished.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I get punished for it when he hits the king. So, and then I said, well, I got to shoot my way out of it.
Oh no.
I don't, wait a minute. Oh no, maybe that was the error. Maybe that was where the no, because I wouldn't have min bet this, right?
I have done almost like that.
But this is more of a mistake.
Yes.
So maybe that's where the mistake was. Because if I was going to bluff him, I wasn't bluffing him this size. I was bluffing him big. So I think, why did I bet one? Okay, so I'm a bad player and I made a mistake, and we just don't know which mistake.
But you have the zooms, always forgive it.
Yeah, he didn't fold. No surprise to that terrible play. All right. Don't look at me. Don't ever look at me. All right. Limp. We are obviously going to ISO this to 5.5. We get a call from a deep stack and we're going deep. And there we go. Deep and out of position. And we miss. The deuce three misses most of his range there. The hearts don't. We don't block that. And the king, he's got some kings. So we check. He checks behind. That's good. With the heart there, we can check our showdown here. We can bet his weakness. I think both are right. Do we have wizard idea? I don't know what you're. So we bet it there. We get called. That's a nightmare. And he calls with singleton hearts. I guess this is not the worst thing to bluff. No, the worst thing to bluff. Yes, it was.
Oh, yes,
Just
it
a
was.
quick recap, Scotty. I missed all the pre-flop action.
The pre-flop action was there was a limp
Okay.
4-5 for those
Yeah.
of you
Then you ISO.
who want to see how badly other people play. I also play badly, but I play badly differently. There's
You
that.
don't play atrocious.
Right. This 3-2 that I said he never has, he had.
Okay. Okay. Check.
Check,
Yeah.
check.
Check
And I
trap.
decided now to take a bet. And when he just calls, it seems like he has very few flush draws here. I mean, on the flop, he has very few two heart hands that check behind. When I bet here, he has very few kings, so he has a little bit of six, a straight draw and a flush draw kind of hands. And I maybe can get a 6 to fold with a bet of this size. That's what I'm going for. And he doesn't have a 6. He has this unexpected hand. So. I don't think you can't look at this like it was a regular blind versus blind hand because of the size of my initial bet. So that was that.
That's a pretty thin value raise on his part.
Yeah, yeah.
You're repping a flush.
I'm repping a flush.
Hmm.
But I don't have one. All right, who's got a hand? Mike,
Of course, I have
got
a
it?
hand.
Right? And anyone else who has hands ready, just say in chat, I have hands, so we know to pick on you.
So share. These are freshly downloaded, so I don't just marked them as VPIPs and where's the share? Share. Okay. Okie doke. So here we go. Ace Queen, we open. Button call.
And quick question,
Yep.
in GTO, when you get three bet and you're from that open position, you fold that ace queen a lot in GTO. Do you do it in real life?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've probably
Okay.
folded more. I mean, depending on like this early position, I would fold it. I would not four bet bluff. But if it was earlier positions or versus blinds, I would four bet bluff at a much higher frequency.
You mean if you were later position?
Yeah, that's what I mean by
Yeah,
later. Yeah.
yeah.
If I
Okay,
was more button cut off and
yeah. Okay, that works.
okay, so multi-way in a flop that's just kind of innocuous. Multi-way, I'm just gonna check just a ton, and I think this definitely falls into that category. Probably range, even if I have aces, if I have kings, queens, jacks, that's not.
Yeah,
But I just check a lot, and of course this one's gonna check. We get a B50 from the button, which can do this with a pretty big healthy part of their range. So I decided to take one. I think we probably can start overfolding versus a population, but I feel like we have to call here. What do you think?
I don't think you have to. I
No,
mean, just look
yeah,
at
like I
MDF.
said, we can fold and to like for the most part,
Yeah,
but since it's coming from the button, did I ask, do we have to call? No, yeah, that's a
I thought
bad
you said,
question.
I said, but I think we have to call. It's like, no, you don't have to call. You,
Yeah,
you
okay.
can mix it and
What do we do? What do the rest of you do?
I think calling is fine. Um,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I'm down with the call. I
yeah,
think call and see what develops.
Okay. I'll get the jack turn. Continue to check. Another B50.
fold, fold and let him bluff you.
This is the fold, right?
Yeah. He
Okay.
has bluffs there too, but if his bluffs were not random, if they were around the straighty cards, he now has a pair or a real straight draw.
Yeah, like some of his bluffs get there, right?
8-10 is there. 8 jack is there. Jack queen, 10
Yeah,
jack,
King Jack,
10
King Jack.
jack,
Yeah,
the jack queen. It's, and if he did something with some weird 10 king thing, that was really spread, now he has a legitimate draw.
yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I did fold. We get to see what he did. He had eights, which is
Yeah.
seems like an odd bet. See, it's these B50s that really they're really fishy. So I often don't know what to do against B50s from fish or from unknowns, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like his bet on the flop, and I would prefer a check on the turn from him and do some bluff catching on the river.
Yeah. Okay.
But he did that.
So I will stop or keep going.
Oh, do too.
Okay. All right. Let's see. It should have an easy pre-flop decision. We do that. We get flatted. Looks like we have a player that I've got a decent amount of hands, or at least for this session. So pretty loose and aggressive.
Of
Boo.
course, the ace.
Ooh.
Of course.
I mean, I would almost always check back here a lot when we flop the ace. even if I have ace queen, if I have ace 10, whatever, I'm gonna check a lot, I think.
What about ace king?
You know, maybe against a player like this who's got aggressive, I might check up more often.
Okay.
I'm gonna bet my ace, king, ace, queen, and ace, jack, and check the other aces. That's what I'm gonna do with my range. Here.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable. I think I remember a session where I was getting like pocket kings flopped with aces like every time. Like I had a bunch. This might have been that session. Anyway, so I decided to actually put in a bet here against this player because I feel like he's just going to be considerably wide.
Mhm.
Do we hate it? Is it okay? No
Uh,
spade?
you just in general rarely bet with the pair below the top card. It falls so much. King here is the same as ace deuce.
No, I definitely get that in theory. Like I
Right.
said, I would check this a shit
Right.
ton.
Do we hate it? No. Sometimes you bet ace deuce.
But yeah, this was I was really hard pressed to like maybe try to get value from worse from a player like this.
I'd like to see if the solver ever does it.
So if we had like the king of spades, it would be more.
Yeah, I think that would
Yeah,
be better value for sure.
yeah.
We got the call. When we get the call and he checks, now I think we're just checking
Yeah.
pure here.
Yeah. And we can bluff catch the river, depending on his size. We
And
can call.
again, we get that B50 size. That's just always there's a
Yeah,
lot of
that's a
coaching
tough
out
one.
there that says you just snap call any B50 bet when you're have any reasonable holding.
Yeah. Yeah, you can call this.
Okay.
You're going to lose most of the time, but most is fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, what a
Oh,
shitty way to lose.
yeah.
He
Um,
wasn't folding on the turn, just so you know.
yeah, no, probably not. I wouldn't have bet the turn anyway.
Yeah. So, do a
Are
really,
we
let's just look in the solve and see if you're allowed to bet the kings there. You know, how uncommon it is.
we were cut off button?
Mm-hmm.
Are we hijack?
No, hijack cutoff.
Can't use a B. I can't use a 3x and get post flop.
Right. But it's the same. Everything's the same.
And we were ace jack of spades, seven of diamonds. They check pretty much range.
Hmm.
So kings, yeah, it doesn't like a bet.
Doesn't like a bet. And by the way, notice
It doesn't matter.
the spade does matter. The spade never lets you do it
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
because the spade doesn't mind a card coming off. So that would be, and that was the one thing I was thinking. So that would be the thing that I would consider the mistake. Do you ever bet kings here? Sure. Not with a spade.
Okay, yeah. Now, so this is in theory to a really solid balanced player.
Yeah.
This player is not solid and balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make a bet a little bit better or a little bit worse?
Uh, all right. It depends on how is he out of balance. So let's make the assumption. He check raise bluffs way less than the solver. Therefore, the bet is safer. Yes. Okay. Um, so you don't get blown off your equity.
Okay, good. That's what Arturo's just said. Yep. Now I'm thinking if they have a wider range, here's their pre-flop calling range to a three bet. This is solver range.
Right?
So if we say they are calling wider than this, we get to include king, queen, ace, jack, of course, ace 10, queen, jack, queen 10.
And
And
how
maybe,
about every suited ace?
and a bunch of other junk.
How about they call back? How about they call every suited ace?
So they're gonna have more aces in their range then?
Yeah,
Okay. That makes our bet worse then, doesn't it?
yeah. But we're not, that the problem is what happens on the, we can fold to their check raise safer.
We
That's
need
the
to,
nice thing.
yeah, definitely. They need to have more Jack X, more Queen X, and more lower pairs to make this bet better.
Yeah.
Which they probably have all the lower pairs, right?
Yeah, they're not folding a pair.
All right. So I think the bet is that we should still just check it. Yeah.
But the one thing I would take from the solver and, Mark Goons, anybody who says, that blockers don't matter at these stakes, I'll say, okay, fine. But if you're going to do it at all, you don't want to do it more than 50% of the time, right? The 50% is the max amount you want to bet that.
Frequency wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a pretty high frequency. Yeah.
Right. So with that in mind, let's just learn from it and say, don't bet the one with a spade.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Good
That's
way
the
to
one
think
thing I
about
would take away from. I think that is applicable to our games, that if you want to expand how often you bet the king there, don't bet the one with a spade, and you'll still have plenty left over to expand from. But also I would just simplify to just never do it.
it. Yeah.
All right. Larry, do you have any hands?
All right. So, um, yeah, I think the button is right here. Nice hand. Player 816 is on a sun run and is quite wide. He opens. I think we're all gonna three bet here.
Yep.
Choose the size.
3-bet him.
And then we get a flat.
Which is going to be much, much wider than GTO, since GTO has no flats.
Yes. Yes, significantly wider than nothing. We get quite a good flop. What size you guys can use here? Multi-way.
9, 9.5, 10.
Yeah, one for right.
Yeah, that's what I do. Now things get interesting.
Oh,
We get a donk, small donk, and we get this.
Ah!
oh.
Well, we know 100% what Joey does.
Yes.
Without thinking, Joey folds this, just chucks it in the muck right now.
Yeah. What do you
Yeah.
guys think?
I think no reads. It's or not easy fold, but a crying fold.
Yeah, so this was a fold. This should have been a fold.
Yeah.
It's easy to see. You won't believe his combo. You won't, but you can easily see where he's got the nuts here. It's 7-5, and I called off. And he folded. This guy folded, but
Oh,
7-5
shit.
off.
Yeah,
Oh,
What a suck out.
that was a
So-
that's
sim.
bad.
I think if I had taken more time in this hand, I would have heard Peter Clark's voice in my head saying, "Sir, you have a fortune reversal."
Yes.
In his Scottish accent. But I did not. I acted quite instinctively here, saying, "This guy could have fucking anything."
Yeah, the problem is that player 8276, you mostly have him beat with that size bet.
Yeah,
Yes.
But player 8167 has chosen to what you have to believe is a spaz, right? You don't believe that this is an overvalue.
Yeah,
Right.
this is a spaz, no matter how you look at it. He's got the
Right.
absolute nuts.
Is if you are not, if he doesn't have you beat, it isn't because he has king, queen here. Right?
Yeah. So question is, does he ever, I think, question comes down to, does he ever do this with the worst game?
Does he have king five? Does he have ace five? And he's going crazy. Other than that, he has you beat, we think.
Yeah, I think this is a acceptable
And he's
overfold.
willing to do it into two players who have shown interest in the pot.
Yeah. I did not think about this properly. Multi-way, good point. I don't think any of us would ever fast play value if we had the nuts here like this. But
mean-
I didn't think about the player type. That was an error.
Given his holding, I mean, I don't know, maybe had you been playing with him already and seen that he's a bit of a maniac here? Because I mean, he had 7-5 offsuit that he raised under the gun, called a 3-bet.
Yeah, he was like an 80% defense. I
Yeah.
knew that.
Oh,
So
yes.
I
of
don't,
course.
I mean, I think just a single pair here is still would be a good fold, but I mean, it's not terrible, I don't think.
Yeah. It could easily be overvaluing. I mean, sometimes we're gonna chop. It could be overvaluing king jack, king queen. I'd like to see my one mistake was instinctively call it, and I should thinking about fortune reversal here. I should be going in my time bank. So one rule that I like to, when I make this call, one rule I like to remind myself of, if you are facing this size of a bet, you must always go into time bank. I must always be using my time bank here.
That's good.
And spend some more time thinking about it. So, all right, that's a travesty.
And I think it's a good idea to have an to have your inner Joey voice there and then have a reason to tell it to shut the fuck up.
Yes, yeah.
And what was your, if you go that far, just you hear Joey screaming to you, what would your reason to say shut the fuck up be? Is it just this guy was a maniac and so I've seen him do this kind of crazy bluff? But you have to have a reason to tell Joey to shut up.
Yeah, agreed.
And I didn't see it on that hand.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that should be an exploit fold.
Again.
All right, this one is interesting. Raise,
Yes, that is a raise.
call. Get straight flush draw gutter.
Yeah. Bet and check raise.
Yep.
Yep.
Calls. Now what are you doing?
You can bet again. You still have a straight. You still have what you had before. And then you're gonna hope for a reversal. You're gonna hope for a scare card on the river if you don't get one of your cards.
So I think you're right. I think it's interesting to see what his combo is here. I chose to check here, but I think
You can
another
call
bet
it
is fine. Like a B75, I think would be the normal size here.
And then
Saying we have tens.
but here's one other thing, on your B75, let's look ahead and see how much does that leave you behind for the river when you don't make it and a scare card for him comes. So if you bet 18.
So
he called
18,
18,
40,
he's got
38 plus 24, right?
Yeah, you want to have 150% pot bet at least on the river in Hungry Horse Theory, I think.
Yeah. So maybe a smaller bet would be good. So like maybe a B, so a B30, like say a B25 would be what? B30 would be, let's say
25
7.5,
pot
right?
48 and leaves him with 84. So that's nice. That's a big chunky.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So what size did you say?
B12, B50 here gives
Yeah.
you a really chunky river bet.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So I chose to check. Now I'm gonna call.
Have to-
I like your bet though. He chooses a
But
big
it-
size, so this So he's got a marginal holding here. And he's using a big size. So this is very common when I think the stakes go up after you check, raise, and check. People get their adrenaline going and
Don't fold.
are more likely to bluff. So I don't. We get there. What are you guys doing now?
Oh, never know. Let's see. This is a massive scare card for him. If you had missed it, you'd be bluffing all in. Therefore, in non-balance world, you want to bet small here and check. Is he going to continue to bet here?
So I check.
He's checking a 10 here. Oh, good.
Bets pot.
Oh, wow.
And this is it. I don't
Oh,
think
just
we
jam. Just jam for his last 18. You don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, is this good enough? I wasn't sure if this is good
Yeah.
enough to jam. Because it's such a
What do
low
you care?
flush.
Yeah,
What do you
He
care?
have to call. He have only 8 left.
yeah,
Yeah,
with only 18 left. If he had 160, you just call, but he's got 18 left. He's gonna call any king, any two pair, any set,
10.
anything.
Yeah, good point. This is, I missed value here.
Yeah.
I missed value. I think I can get this last 20 bigs.
You get
So
the
I
last,
just
here's
choose
the
to call
important thing,
and he rivered
is
two
you get the
back.
last 20 bigs at no risk. That's why you can take them.
Yeah, I like that.
You might lose
I
it,
like,
but you'd have no negatives. Yeah.
I like check shoving. And I think you have a good idea in chat, Mike. I think you can go maybe to 12 here.
Well, yeah, and I don't know, but here's a bit of a heuristic that I've been hearing
Mhm.
is that your check raise size, you can think of it like if the board is good for like the big blind here who has bet. When you check raise, you want to check raise to a bigger size. When the board is good for you, you would check raise to a smaller size like this.
Got it.
But I don't know if that's right. And
So when the board, now it's very hard to know who's got
Yeah, because these
range
ranges
versus range
so
because we're
wide.
blind versus blind, but I see your point. So your point is, if the board texture is good for us, we check raise bigger. But if the board texture is better for the opponent, we check raise small. Did I hear you right?
that's what that's what I think that I've heard. And
I
if
like
you
that
want,
heuristic.
I have it pulled up here on Wiz if you want to look to see what theory does.
Sure. Let's I'll stop sharing.
So it was a raise small blind, call big blind, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the flop. You look at your over bets here.
Very polarizing texture.
But we do, of course, we do get to check a lot. In your particular holding, interesting that when you do bet, it's like goes away from the over bets.
Yeah.
You check, they will be, I'm guessing B75 a lot. Yeah, B75 a lot or check a lot. But they go B50. Now your 3-5 suited does not like a check raise. Interesting. I thought it
So
would.
good. It does not like a check raise.
Now, when you do check raise though, so here's what I was thinking about was the sizing.
It does like a bigger size.
Yeah, it does like the bigger size. Uh, and I guess, is it because, do you think this board, I guess if we go to range, we can see who it favors? Favors the
Yeah, I
big
think they're always really close, blind versus blind. It's just ranges are so wide. Can you go back to strategy? Can you filter for just like flushes and combo draws? There we go.
Where are we
No.
at?
Oh wait, almost there. It was
GP.
below the equity. There we go. Combo draw, no, does not. Flush draw sometimes. But it really, this combo draw, it really likes to call. Just call.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Now, if you had done my theory on the river of betting out, you would not have made as much money
Agreed.
because he just calls.
But we got lucky because he got
We
two
got
eights.
lucky, but you did leave 18 point something chips.
Okay. I got one more hand to show.
Okay, just take it.
I have a question about, you were talking about that you said something about a horse chunk, that you're gonna bet something to leave him to, so he can fold if you jam. Is that what you were talking about?
Yes,
Yeah,
I would
someone was,
say-
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead, Scotty.
yes. So, this is not, this is an exploit. And it's an exploit championed by Mark Goons as we understand it. Mark Goons plays under the name Hungry Horse and posts under the name, and YouTube's under the name Hungry Horse, and makes really good
Okay.
really good content in terms of its entertainment value. I think it's also good under its poker value, but who am I to judge? But it's well edited, that's for sure. And his thought is this: he plays, if I were to discuss his strategy in a simplified way, he is playing his opponent's cards even more than most exploitative players. He's really saying that most of them telegraph their strength by the size of their bets and play in such a way that you can tell when they are capped. And when they are capped, your cards don't matter as long as you have enough money to blast them off on the river. So he does
Okay.
a lot of big bets on the river, 2x pots and 1.5x pots on the river. And he does his check raises big too. And his phrase for it is the big boy bet and the big boy check raise. And so
Right.
when you're choosing your sizing for that, with this 3-5 here on the turn, when we were considering betting the turn, so go forward, he calls the flop. So he's got something then when he calls with, right?
Yeah. All right.
So now when this deuce comes and we decide that the deuce is not that he doesn't have a lot of deuces in his range. That's not how he plays his deuces, we think. We think a lot of deuces fold to the check raise.
Yep.
We could be wrong. Because he does have deuces in his range, being that he was in the big blind. We don't have a lot of deuces that we check raised with. So we really are saying we have an overpair here that we started with, or we have a really good 10. This is on the value side. Or we have a freak, we happen to have a set of 10s, a set of 6s. We can have those, given our play. So the size we're going to bet here with our 3-5 bluff is one that many rivers we're going to want to jam as a bluff.
Okay.
We want to make sure that jam is not 75% pot that he shrugs and calls a 10 with. We need a 10 to fold on the river. So when Larry said, I think when I bet here, I think I want to bet 18. If you look at what that does, 18 puts another 36 in the pot, which puts the pot to 60 and leaves him with 88, right? Yeah, when he puts in another 18. So when we jam, we're jamming 88 into 60. That's not such a beefy overbet to get him to fold a 10. But if we bet 12, we're almost at where the size of that overbet really scares a 10.
Yeah.
So that's what it is to have that
All right.
big overbet left.
Yeah. All right.
The
get it.
other thing that he does, as long as this, is when he makes this play, he bets the turn all the time because he wants the guy to call the turn and fold the river. He not only wants the fold on the river, he wants the call on the turn. So the smaller bet on the turn works that way. And certainly
Yes.
if we bet 24 on the turn and bring the pot up to 72, leaving him with exactly 72, that's not a beefy river bet. That's only pot size.
Yeah.
So that's my understanding of what goes on inside of Mark Goon's distorted head that I've never met the man, and I could be completely wrong, but that's my inner Mark Goons. That's how I play. That's what I do.
Yeah.
All right. Another hand for me. This is just a lesson in blind versus blind bluff catching. Nice hand.
Yeah,
You're called. What are you guys doing?
betting.
Player dependent, but doing a lot of checking.
So
Okay.
yeah, I like checking here. I do a lot of checking in this position. Think people overbluff, which we see here. Giving away the ghost. He bets like a B60, which is a super common size. I see like a lot of B, like 4.5 here. A lot of 4.
Against this
She's-
bigger size, I like your check call.
Yeah, I think this is a super common. And now he goes big again.
Now definitely don't raise.
Yeah. And I'm putting in some Vegas and the Mirage tanking here. And we just obviously we're just gonna
Just call.
man shows up with absolute air. Well, he had something at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is the argument here is I guess I don't know if I call this a trap, but this is calling down and trapping and bluff catching wide, blind versus blind is profitable,
Yeah.
which is a big lesson from Peter Park.
Mike said that Mike ran your hand, the 3-5 suited, I assume it is, in the
Yeah.
sim, and said you check raise the turn again.
I was wondering about that. Thanks, Mike. All right. Who's next?
Stefan or Arcturus, do you have any hands ready? If not, I will go.
No, I don't have for today.
Okay.
Maybe next week.
All right, I will go. And I don't believe there was anything in my text that just showed that mattered. I'll go back and look. If necessary, I'll edit it out. I'll say one thing about the Mark Goons in your head and the Jonathan Little in your head. This is something that comes from teaching people how to write jokes in comedy writing, which is called modeling. And what you do is you think about, you're trying to write a joke, and instead of writing it as yourself, you say, how would Robin Williams write this joke? How would Sarah Silverman write this joke? How would Louis C.K. write this joke? How would Mel Brooks write this joke? And what happens is, by thinking about the way somebody else does it, sometimes your inner Robin Williams is, although it's not as good as Robin Williams, it's better than you. So your inner Robin Williams is a better joke writer than you are.
Yeah.
And so in the same way, if you think about what would Jonathan Little do in this situation, what would Joey do in this situation, what would Jungle Man do in this situation, what would Mark Goons do in this situation, and you have a picture, you have a model of them in your head. What would, Bart Wilson, Brad Wilson or Brad Owens or Bart Wilson do? Going through their thinking, you won't play like they actually would play, and you won't play as well as them, but you may play as well as play better than your own first instinct. And so it'll lead you to think about paths that you're not thinking about. And so that's where its value comes in, to model other poker players. All right, here's a hand. All right, here's a hand. We have king 4. We get limped. We can never not play this king 4 suited here. We can complete it, or we can ISO it. He's got 19 big blinds left.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't matter what we do. Maybe it just doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay. We have to. We just check.
Yeah.
Nobody likes this pot. We should be able to take it.
The one question I always have here is in the limp pot. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, we're blocking king jack and queen jack, but it doesn't really matter because it's a limp pot and ranges
Doesn't
are
matter.
so wide.
Villain 13 has everything except his best hands.
Yeah.
He has every jack deuce left. He has
Yeah.
jack deuce offsuit.
He also has every 6 high, every 7 high, every 8
Yeah.
high, every 9 high.
Yeah, he has,
Yeah.
He has 2-3 offsuit, and he has 3-7 offsuit. Villain 12 has something different than that. But at the same time, the size we're gonna, because of the absolute sizes involved, This is another thing that matters. A three big blind bet is easy for them to call. Forget about how it's relative to the size of the pot. It's just not expensive. So if he has anybody with pair of threes can call a three big blind bet if they want to. And that's a lot to bet for the size of the pot into two players. So maybe I shouldn't bluff this. Is there any chance king high is good here? Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Oh, not, yeah, not anymore. No, I'm not there.
Oh.
Interesting play with sevens. There we go. And there's his jack three. And he called the raise. That seems really bad. Okay. Here's a hand. Oh. Here's a hand. Raise, there is no three betting of nines here against the cutoff at all. Is that true? Yeah, there's no three betting, just call. All right. Pretty good flop, easily defined. Check call. Huge bet. This doesn't exist in GTO world. But we should still call it. I think.
Yes.
Yeah. But he may be able to push us off this pot. It's gonna be hard for him. Yeah, it's gonna be hard for us to continue if he continues big. Oh, great.
Ooh, maybe that's the queen.
He might have the queen. So we have no reason to bet here.
Oh.
Right? And we should bluff catch depending on size.
Yeah, agreed.
And why did I do that?
Feels kind of merging.
Seems like a huge mistake.
And this is a fault.
Yeah, I got a fold. What am I doing here? Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh.
Okay, so there is your river, there is the violation of the river raise. We may get to see this one again in our river raised session, study. We haven't gotten to this hand. But what is it about this that lets this happen? Hello, deuce six. Check. He bets big. I call a big bet.
Yeah.
I would do this with a queen. I would do this with flushes. I would do this with the ace of diamonds. Check, check. You don't know anything about it. You don't believe that's a queen?
Yeah, this seems like a suicide bluff to me.
Yeah, oh,
He beats
yeah.
he beats the ace of diamonds. I mean, I think the mistake here was that me betting. If I don't bet,
He would check too.
he might check behind, but if
Yeah.
he bets, it's not that he's not doing that. Who is this Mike Plossel motherfucker right here? All right.
That's a name we haven't heard in a while.
There we
Heard
go.
he showed up to a poker tournament recently.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Right.
In Mississippi and they called him out.
All right. So no one gets sued. In my opinion, that in a game where there is not electronic cards, I think I wouldn't mind having Mike Plossel play there because I expect that he plays worse than most players.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, probably.
All right. Mike's
That's
up.
an interesting bluff. That is like, I mean, I don't think that's a thing against your size.
Right.
I think this is the definition of a suicide bluff.
It is. But I think I can adjust my play here and not bet this river. I think that this river bet is a mistake on my part.
Well, it's very mergy.
But you did check the river, right?
No, I bet the river. That's the
No,
problem.
I'm sorry. I mean, on the flop. How about check raising?
No. This is that. I mean, let's play the Jonathan Little in my head, which is not the real Jonathan Little. The Jonathan Little in my head says this hand is a marginal flush draw and a pair bigger than the 8 and smaller than the queen, which is called a marginally made hand. And what do we do with
Yes.
marginally made hands? We check call.
Check call.
There.
Yes.
Now we
Yes.
check. All right, on the river, I now beat all flushes. I beat every flush there is. He didn't play a lot of flushes this way, but he does. I beat all bluffs that are going to not call. A queen that he has could have easily played this way. This is really natural for a queen of his, right? Bets his queen, big, to try not to have the diamond come in. The 8 comes in. That's the second worst card for him to see. Another diamond is terrible for him. I'm putting him on king, queen with a king of hearts, queen of hearts. That's his hand. He hates this 8 and checks it behind. What? I think that hand is going to fold now. This is such an easy check call to any reason, to any size up to pot, and then think about bigger than pot. Instead, I did this, which usually doesn't result in this, but it rarely results in anything good. If he has a queen here,
It doesn't.
right. If he has a queen here, maybe he doesn't raise, but I still lose pot size, which is about what he would bet with a queen. He's never folding a queen. If he has jacks or 10s, they're calling and beating me. And I'm getting 7s maybe to fold. What's the value in that? And flushes, this is just a bad bet. This is weirder, and it worked. And yet I do not see where he does not see my line as making total sense with a queen. Check, call a queen, check, bet a queen. And that sizing makes sense. So anyway, you're up, Stephen. You're up, Mike.
Okay.
18 new messages.
All right, continuing on from where I had left off, raise the king jack a button. We get a flat.
One question before
Yeah.
you go. The note where you said, I think it's a polarization error, bet either 33 or check with your holding. Was that me on the river? Or was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. Yeah. That's another way to put it. I suppose I can, yeah. It's not a terrible bet small, but I'm glad I didn't bet small because betting small does invite that stuff. So there we go. And I has a full house. I can raise. Okay.
Okay, so we get called from the big blind. King or ace queen 4. They check. This is a really good board. I think we can even overbet, and maybe even this hand can overbet. I like it with a club, maybe a little better. So I do see bet, probably range almost, not range, but heavily see bet, and to a bigger size.
I like
So
this bigger size to be, if you're not going to overbet it, I like this bigger size to be 4.
Yeah, so I sized up from a B33 to a B50.
Yeah. I want to go 66 and 75 on that, but whatever.
They call, pick up a little equity, maybe.
Why?
Why do we pick up equity?
Yeah.
Doesn't a 10 make a straight?
10 made it straight before this.
Well,
Yes, it did.
You have the same amount of equity.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I gotcha. No,
You
you're
have your
right.
same amount of equity.
Yep.
You lost a little bit of equity because now the 10 of diamonds could be dirty.
Good point.
Yeah.
They check. Double flush draw. Board.
You're allowed to bet here with a king
Yeah.
jack. And you can shut it down and try to realize both are right. I suspect that with a double flush board, it might be better to bet because your 10, you have two bad tens.
Yeah, and when we hold these suits, it's better to bet because we can deny equity even when we have value, right? So we would bet probably on the big side.
And then if none of the flushes come in, you have the choice to check behind, hoping that your nothing wins, or to try to bet him off a queen. With and also knowing that some of his range consists of flush draws that will fold.
Okay, good. I probably was considering both options. I decided to do that. They come in, they check.
You really want to have one club here when you do this, don't you?
Yeah, I think having a club is definitely better to bluff this.
Yeah. Let's see. Can you beat anything? Yes. You can beat things
Yeah.
that took this line.
Yeah, he probably has a pretty wide range defending in the big blind and then a B50 on the flop. There's hands we beat for sure.
Yeah.
I check behind,
I don't hate it.
lose to that.
I hate it.
So, yeah, okay. I mean, no other objections to, I mean, I know we can take different lines here. I tend to,
I don't hate your play at all when I said that. I just hate the result.
no, I know. I just, I feel like one of my leaks is my red line leak. Like I take hands that I know can have showdown and I probably just try to take it too often. And I
Mhm.
feel like I should be taking more opportunities.
Let's take a look at this one. Let's see how often this one bluffs and continues.
Button raise. Big blind call.
What size will you bet on wherever if it checked us? Like if we're bluffing, what sizing are we choosing?
On the river?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That might have been one of the things that made me decided to check because I wasn't sure if I do bet, what size do I use?
I have an answer for that. Pot or bigger.
Oh
Because
yeah.
if you're going to bet, you're bluffing and therefore bluff. You've decided that the king jack is not good.
So here's the flop, and as we suspected, this is a big time over bet type of situation. Let me make this
So
bigger.
okay. So our play here is almost always, okay, let's see it.
So it likes the club much better.
Right. And it doesn't even like 75. It wants 125, right?
Yep.
I'm reading that correctly?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. It doesn't hate 75, but it wants 125.
We chose B50.
Yeah. So I feel good. I feel good about yelling at you for the size.
They called with 5-4 diamonds, which is certainly reasonable. And we get what, 9 of diamonds?
At which point, and here's the wonderful thing. If we bet this and then blast the river, not only do we get a fold, but we also got a call on the turn.
Yeah, I don't want to be results oriented though, but
No, but I mean, I mean in the in the line that we believe. If you think you can get almost everything to fold that river, you want to get the call on the turn. I'm not talking about just his combo. Let's see. But the king jack does not like to continue.
Why does this look so squished? All right. Yeah, so King Jack
Because
without
you
a
did
club.
50%. It's so squished because you don't take 50%.
No, I'm talking about like the size of the squares down in the lower
Oh,
right
okay.
are tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it doesn't want a continuation bet unless you don't have a club that likes it better. Spade, diamond, diamond. So diamond. So back doors. Back doors it prefers, or it's not even so much that. All right, so a weird rabbit hole to get into if you were to continue.
Right.
We check, we get the 8, I think.
Yep.
8 of clubs. Flush completer, right? Was it?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, have the club to make the bet.
Right. And then you always do it.
Yep.
Then always do it as an exaggerated. Do it
And
with
go
it.
big.
Yeah. Give up without it. Now go 75 on the flop instead of 20. And so we have something there. And then really we want to look at the 125. Now the king jack has a fair amount of continues as long as you have a diamond. And it continues big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have a diamond and not a club.
Oh, if you have a diamond, oh, go back, roll over that again. We don't do it with diamond club.
Nope.
Oh, wow. Okay. Diamond, no club. So you put club draws in his hand for his calls. And you put club draws in his hands and you don't want him to continue with his diamond draws. All right.
Yeah.
Your hand was that. You didn't have you didn't have a diamond or a club, right?
Correct.
But you have to check this on this run out.
Yep. Yeah, same thing. Give yourself the club. Without the diamond though, I mean, still
Go for it. Okay.
okay.
Right. All right. I don't think we need, do you want to look at, let's take 10 seconds and look at what it does when you bet 125, which is its preferred size. And just to see if something weird happens.
The B150.
Was it 150 on it was no, on the flop.
Oh, flop.
Yeah, flop is 150. Flop is 125. That was its preferred size.
Wonder if he continues he should with 5-4 diamonds, right? It's indifferent.
Yeah, start getting some folds there. Which is not a bad result.
Now the out of position player donks on a flush completer when you go big.
Right. What did we do on the turn? And look at our turn strat?
Well, that's what we're looking at right now.
Oh, we're looking at the turn strat. Oh, he just bets out. No, the flush doesn't complete on the turn. It completes on the river.
No, 9 of diamonds. You're right. Yep, 9 of diamonds. It's a 9 of diamonds. I got that wrong here. Yeah, okay, so check.
And now our king jack does the same thing. Same hands. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
All right.
that's great.
Under the gun. Called in position. I'm checking range here.
Okay.
I think the board is small enough. Maybe we get to like throw in some large bets, but pretty much check range.
Mhm.
Now I wonder if I do this for a reason.
Because in raised pot, when you open out of position, you do a lot of checking, but almost every hand that bets also has checks. And lots of hands that check also have bets. So if you look at this actually in solver, this hand will bet some.
I think it's going to check range, to be honest. We are actually 8-handed, so it comes from here. The call comes from in here, but we're going to give it to him on the button.
Right.
We get 6 3 deuce, 3 deuce of spades. Doesn't matter the other
This
suit.
is a really good flop for the big blind, not for the button. But yep, you're right. Check range. I'm
Check
wrong.
range. All right, so we're off here.
Okay.
So I went. I don't know why, because I know that's check range. I don't know if I had a reason to. Okay. Now that we've taken this line, I'm going to continue, I think.
Hmm.
Good call.
Yep.
All right, decision point. We have the front door.
This
King
is
high
a
front door.
really good one to give up on now.
I think solver says to give up a lot.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I do.
His weirdly played 5-7 got there.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be expensive if there was a spade on the
Yeah.
river.
Yes, it would have.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the rare case where you need the one more. Yep.
Yeah, and I think smaller. I think if I for some reason took this line with say 8-9 of spades, well, that'd be straight on the river. If I had a lower flush draw, then I think we keep betting. Whereas when we get up here into the ace high, king high flush front doors, we can give up and often take showdown.
Yeah.
Does that sound
Yeah.
about right?
You could have, if you raised, you could certainly have raised could you have raised a 9 jack there? You could certainly raise a jack queen there.
Jack 9 would not be in, queen jack
Okay.
would be, yeah.
So give yourself queen jack there.
And then we're still kind of up there.
Mhm.
I wonder if, is it, well, we're off solver because we bet the flop. So,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Now, if we play that as a check raise and he decides to not go nuts with his combo draw and realize, do we bet the river? Or do we move on to another hand? We move on to another hand. Larry.
So I have to get going now. So thanks for tonight. And,
Welcome.
see you next week.
Hi, Stefan. We do Mondays and Tuesdays. The same-
Yeah, I will try to
Great.
hook up
We'd love it.
in the future. All right.
Congratulations on your win. Well deserved.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Good night.
Yeah, guys, I gotta jump too. Thank you very much.
Okay.
What's your schedule like on Monday?
Let me look. Next Monday is regular. Yeah, Monday and Tuesday of next week are normal. And then I've got shows the next week, the 14th, 15th. We'll figure out things.
Okay.
I think I'll be able to do the study on the Monday. Oh, wait, hold on. I've got to rehearse. No, we have to be there 11:30. So no, Monday 14th, the 14th and 15th. I'll need other people to do things, but I'll be able to open the room.
Okay.
All right.
Scotty, thank you as always for the Zoom, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Yeah, we'll end now. That's perfect time to end. Sees ya. Vera.